Going to my dear students. My name is Amagna, working as assistant professor, Jabbarun College. Now today I explain the topic columns and struts. The subject strength of materials 2 for second BTech second semester in civil engineering. Okay, now I will explain this topic columns and struts. Now, but today I will explain discussed for only columns. Okay, in this class, lecture 18, go to next slide. Introduction for columns. Column or a structure is defined as a member of structure, okay, which is subjected to axial compressive load. If the member of the structure is vertical and both of its ends are fixed rigidly while subjected to axial compressive load, the member is known as column. Okay, for example, a vertical pillar between the roof and the floor. Okay, if the member of the structure is not vertical and one or both of its ends are hinged or pinned, pin, pin joined, the bar is known as struct. Okay, example structure connecting rods, piston rods, etc. That is the best. That is the difference between a column and a strut. We'll again explain what is the definition of column and what is the definition of strut. Clearly, I will explain. Uh, if member of the structure is vertical and both of its ends are fixed rigidly, both ends are fixed, subject to axial compressive load. You have to see the diagram. This is the figure 9.1. This is the compressive load I have to apply both sides. Okay, the member is known as column. This is the column. Okay, for example, a vertical pillar between the roof and the floor. Okay, now see roof and floor. Okay, that is the column. That is the pillar. Okay, and if the member of the structure is not vertical and not vertical and one or both of its ends are hinged or pin joined. That means column condition, yeah, both are hinged. Column supports are there are three types of supports: fixed support and hinged support. Another one roller support. These are the supports for column. Give the support for beam to column. The supports are used for structural members. Okay. The fixed support have three reactions: vertical, uh, horizontal, and movement. That the fixed support you have three reactions. First one reaction vertical, another one is horizontal, third one is movement. Okay. Now second support for hinged support. Hinged support have two reactions. One horizontal, second one is vertical. That is the reaction of hinged support. Another third one, roller support. Roller support have only one reaction, that is called vertical reaction. Okay, these are the supports for columns. Okay, now struct means both ends which hinged. That is called struct. Okay, for example, connecting rods or piston rods. Okay, these are examples for structs. Okay, now next topic for 19.2, failure of a column. Okay, failures of column also is very important for structural uh, aspects. The failure of a column takes place due to any one of the following stresses, set up in the columns. Okay, any one of the stresses. Okay, now the following steps. First one, direct compressive stresses. Second one, bulking stresses. And third one, combined direct uh, compressive and buckling stresses. Both combined. Okay, the three failures following. The following stresses to fail the failure of the column behave the three parameters: direct compressive stress, second one buckling stresses, and both are combined. Third one combined direct compressive and buckling stresses. Okay, these are the conditions for have to failing the column. Okay, first one, columns are two types for structural aspects for short column, and another one is long column. Okay, now failure of short column. A short column how to fail. Discuss now 9.2.1 topic failure of a short column. Okay, a short column of uniform cross sectional area, uh, capital A, subjected to an axial compressive load, capital P, is shown in figure 9.1. See the diagram. This is the short column acting both the direction load for compressive force acting B and a cross sectional area capital A. The compressive stress induced is given by uh, that means the stress sigma equal to P by A. That means load by area. If the compressive load on the short column is gradually increased, a stage will reach when the column will be on the point of failure by crushing. The stress induced in the column corresponding to this load is known as a crushing stress, and the load is called a crushing load. Okay, in latch, PC equal to crushing load, sigma C crushing stress, and capital A cross sectional area. Now sigma C equal to PC divided by capital A. That is the short column have to failure for crushing. All short columns fails due to crushing. Okay. Now short columns fail to crushing. Crushing means uh, uh, the column of concrete uh, breakup pieces, some number of pieces uh, breaking of concrete. Inner side, sorry, starting stage and ending stage, the concrete will be failed. Number of pieces were broken. That is called crushing. Okay, short column will be uh, occurring for failure crushing. Okay, uh, if again I will explain. If the compressive load on the short column is gradually increased, okay, gradually increase, a stage will reach when the column will on the point of failure by crushing. The stress induced in the column corresponding to this load is known as crushing stress, and the load is called crushing load. Okay, maximum load you have to applying for short column. Crushing will be start. The failure will be start. The failure is called crushing for only short columns. Okay. Formula also is derived for PC equal to crushing load, sigma C equal to crushing stress, and capital A equal to area of cross section. Now sigma C equal to uh, PC by area. That means load by area. Okay. This is the unit 3. Now I will explain. So now today start the unit 3. Okay. Unit 3 columns under struts. Okay. Next topic for long column failure 9.22 class next topic, failure of a long column. Okay, take a long column. A long column of uniform cross-sectional area capital A and of length small l subject to an axial compressed fluid acting P is known as as shown in figure 9.2. A column is known as long column if the length of the column is compression to its lateral dimensions is very large. Okay, such columns uh, such columns do not fail by crushing alone, but also by bending up, also not buckling, bending or buckling as shown in figure 9.2. See the diagram 9.2. This is the diagram figure 9.2. This is the long column. This is the E, the distance of buckling. That means failure of buckling for long columns. That's dimensions are very large. For length also is increasing for long column. Length of column is increased. Okay, load at which the column just buckles is known as a buckling load or a critical just or a clipping load. The buckling load is less than the crushing load for a long column. Actually, the value of buckling load for long columns is low, whereas for short column, the value of buckling load is relatively high. That is the main concept for the both condition for short column and long column. Load at which the column just buckles, okay, is known as buckling load or critical just or crippling load. That means two names are there for long column. You have to fail buckling load or crippling load. Okay, the buckling load is less than the crushing load for a long column. Actually, the value of buckling load for long column is low. Okay, whereas for for short column, the value of buckling load is relatively high. Okay, okay, you understand that sentence? Okay, uh, actually buckling load is low for a long column. For a short column, buckling load is relatively high. Okay, now see the diagram 9.2. See again this long column again explain. A long column uniform cross-sectional area A, capital A, and of length small l, subjected to axial compressive load capital P is as shown in figure 9.2. A column is known as long column. Okay, if the length of the column is comparison, long column comparison of to its lateral dimension is very large. That means dimensions are very high compared to short column. Such columns is do not fail by crushing. Okay, long column not failure for crushing. Okay, uh, for failing for bending or buckling or clipping. That is called failure of long column. Okay, now the issue small l equal to length of the column, length of a long column, capital P. That means load, compressive load, at which the column has just buckled. Capital A cross-sectional area of the column, small e equal to maximum bending of the column at the center. C, the center, the bending of column failure. That is the failure of long column. That is the crushing. Sorry, the long column have to fail only buckling or clipping or bending. Okay, that is the middle portion you have to bend. That is the failure of long column. Now sigma O equal to stress due to direct flow. Sigma B equal to stress due to bending at the center of the column. Okay, where Z equal to section modulus about the axis of bending. The extreme stresses on the mid section are given by maximum stress that equal to sigma O plus sigma B. Minimum stress that equal to sigma O minus sigma B. The column will fail when maximum stress sigma O plus sigma B is more than the crushing stress sigma C. But in case of long columns, the direct compressive stresses are negligible as compared to buckling stresses, and very long columns are subjected to buckling stresses only. Okay. Now we have to consider for buckling stresses only for long columns. Okay. These are the main types of columns, short column or long column, and failures of column. Okay, short column of failure to crushing, long column failure to buckling. Okay, next 9.3 class assumptions made in the Euler's column theory. Okay, Euler's column theory. Write the assumptions. Okay, some assumptions we have to follow for a column theory. Uh, the following assumptions are made in the Euler's column theory. The first point I have to read. The column is initially perfectly straight, and the load is applied axially. That is the first condition. That is the first assumption for Euler's column theory. Okay. The column section of the column, sorry, the cross section. Second point, the cross section of the column is uniform throughout its length. Uniform throughout its length. Another assumption, you have to maintain cross section. That means dimensions have to uniformly you have to maintain. Okay. The column material is perfectly elastic, homogeneous, and isotropic, and obeys the Hooke's law. That means Hooke's law means stress is directly proportional to strain. That the law will be obeyed, and you have to homogeneous means you have to simultaneously. Okay, perfectly elastic condition. The for Euler's columns theory, obey this third point. It shall also obey. The the fourth point, the length of the column is very large as compared to its lateral dimensions. Okay, lateral dimension compared to the column length is very large. Okay, compared to lateral dimension. Okay, the direct stress is very small as compared to the bending stress. Okay, the direct stress is very small as compared to buckling stress. The column will fail by buckling alone. Okay, the self weight of column is negligible. The self weight of the column will is negligible. It's a very important assumption for Euler's column theory. The failures will be not occurring for the failures not occurring. How to following these assumptions for Euler's columns theory. Okay. Next, another one. End condition for long columns. Already already explained for the supports in the column. Now again, for I explain end conditions for long column. In case for long column, the stress, okay, due to direct load is very small in comparison with the stresses due to buckling. Okay, direct load is small for comparison buckling load. Hence, the failure of long columns takes place entirely due to buckling or bending. Already explained long column failure for buckling or bending. Okay. The following four types of end conditions for the column is important. See the four conditions. Both the ends of the column are hinged. Okay. Second one end is fixed and other end is free. See, see the arrow mark. See the diagram 9.19.2. These are the supports. Okay. These are the both are hinged. Okay. Both are hinged. Another one is one end fixed, other end is free. One end fixed, other end is free. Okay, so the second end condition of the column. Third one, both the ends of the column are fixed. Both the ends of the column are fixed. That is the third condition. Fixed condition. Fourth one end is fixed, another end is pinned. Pinned means hinged. Okay. For this four condition, you have to follow the for long column. Uh, for a hinged end, the deflection is zero. Deflection will be zero. Hinged end. For a fixed end, the deflection and the slope are zero. Okay. For a free end, the deflection is not zero. Okay. Now these conditions are very very important. Hinged support have to no deflection. That means that the deflection is zero. Fixed support have taken slope and deflection also zero. But a free end, the deflection is not zero. Okay. These are the condition for column conditions. Sign conversions are next. See, the sign conversions are very very important. Convexity. Okay. Concavity. Uh, the positive or negative condition for columns. Sign conversions are very very important. The following sign conversions for the bending of the columns will be used. A first condition, a movement. See the diagrams for A positive, B negative. A movement which will bend, okay, bend the column with its convexity towards its initial central line as shown in figure 19.3a. This is the 19.3a positive. Is taken as positive if figure 19.3a AB represented the initial center line of a column where the column bends taking the shape AB dash or AB double dash. The moment producing this type of curvature is positive. See the diagram. Towards left, towards right. That is called the positive. Okay. This is the convexity of sign is a positive sign. You have to take it. For negative sign of when we have taken 19.3b diagram, have to see second point for negative, a movement which will tend to bend the column with its concavity towards its initial center line as shown in figure. This is the center line. Okay. Comparison of these positive and negative have to take an uh, center line as shown in figure. Concavity. See this one. This is the concavity. Okay, this I have to take a negative. Negative sign you have to take in for columns. Sign conversions are for columns is very very important. Convexity you have to take in positive. Concavity you have to take in negative. Okay, these are the sign conversions, and now we today explain different types of columns and pillars of columns and introduction. What is column? What is strut? And just small derivation for long columns and short columns and sign conversions. Okay, next class I will explain four conditions for in this end condition for long columns. Each end column have to derivate to calculating the crippling load, to calculating each one. Next class I will explain the four conditions for a long column for end conditions. Okay, this is the unit 4, unit 3, first introduction, unit 3, columns and shirts. Next class I will explain a long column for end conditions. The four conditions are will explain next class. Derivation parts I will explain. Okay. Thank you this opportunity.